Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
It's great to be here.
Today we're going to be exploring the life and philosophy of Li Xiaoyi,
Well, very cool.
a successful writer and entrepreneur in China.
I'm excited for this one.
Our mission, if you will, is to kind of glean some insights about modern womanhood and financial wellness.
Okay.
Finding happiness on your own terms.
All right.
All through kind of the lens of her experiences.
Oh, yeah?
And we're working from an interview that she gave to Chinese publication, which we've had translated just for you.
Okay, great.
So let's just start with like the very basics. Sure. Who is Li Xiaoyi?
So Li Xiaoyi, she's made quite a name for herself in the literary world.
Okay.
Her book, Soul of a Fragrant Woman, has sold over 10 million copies,
Wow.
making her a best-selling author.
That's huge.
But she didn't stop there.
Okay.
Li Xiaoyi is also a savvy entrepreneur,
Really?
navigating the world of online businesses and building a thriving company.
Wow. So she has both sides of it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have to ask about something that's become almost legendary about Li Xiaoyi.
Okay.
The 4:45 a.m. wake-up call.
Right.
Is she really writing every morning at that hour?
Yeah. Is she superhuman?
Is there some secret to her discipline?
Well, it turns out the secret isn't superhuman discipline at all.
Okay.
Like Xiaoyi readily admits that she's simply a morning person.
Oh, okay.
And she really encourages others to find what works for them,
Yeah.
emphasizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to productivity or success.
So it's more about understanding our natural rhythms and preferences and kind of working with our energy, not against it.
Absolutely.
Got it.
You know, this idea of individuality really permeates Li Xiaoyi's entire philosophy.
Okay.
She doesn't believe in following a prescribed path,
Yeah.
but rather carving out your own.
Okay, so that makes it even more interesting to look back at 2013
All right.
for her.
Yeah.
This was the time of major transition for her.
Huge transition.
The media landscape was changing. Her career was at a crossroads.
And her marriage was ending.
Wow, a lot going on.
So how does she navigate such a turbulent period?
So Li Xiaoyi turned to writing as a lifeline during that difficult time.
Okay.
Initially, her writing focused on iconic women from China's past.
Interesting.
Figures like Lin Huiyan, Zhang Yui, and Liu Xiaoman.
So she was looking back.
Yeah, and it's intriguing how she drew inspiration from these strong, independent women who had navigated their own unique challenges.
So she found solace and guidance in their stories, almost like mentors from another era.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And it's fascinating that even today, she still speaks very highly of Lin Huiyan,
Oh, really?
who was a renowned architect and writer.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
And it's like she finds,
I think Li Xiaoyi finds a timeless relevance in these women's lives.
yeah,
Perhaps seeing reflections of her own struggles and aspirations in their journeys.
right.
But her writing wasn't just a personal outlet, though.
Okay.
It became the springboard for an incredible entrepreneurial journey. And this is where I think a lot of our listeners are really going to find her story fascinating.
For sure.
So her writing started gaining popularity on WeChat,
Yes.
which is a social media platform in China,
Right.
and eventually led to book deals,
Wow.
a thriving online community,
Okay.
and ultimately her own company.
That's quite the trajectory.
That's amazing.
It is, and it's a testament to her adaptability and entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Li Xiaoyi didn't just rest on her laurels as a writer.
Okay.
She embraced new platforms like short videos and live streaming
Smart.
to reach a wider audience, and this really speaks volumes about the dynamic nature of online business today.
It's such a good lesson in recognizing opportunities and constantly evolving.
Hopefully.
Okay, so
Okay.
here's what I find really refreshing about Li Xiaoyi.
Okay.
She's not just about the hustle.
Right.
While she's ambitious and driven, she has a very grounded approach to success and happiness.
You're absolutely right.
So,
She's not chasing like unicorn status
yeah.
or mega fame.
Yeah. For her company instead,
Yeah.
Li Xiaoyi prioritizes creating genuine value for her audience,
Okay.
ensuring a good life for her employees,
Right.
and most importantly, cultivating personal contentment.
I like how her definition of happiness is so relatable.
Yeah.
It's not about fleeting highs or external validation.
Right.
Instead, it's about inner peace,
Yeah.
long-lasting joy,
Yeah.
and two key elements: having money to spend and someone to love.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into her concept of having money to spend.
Okay.
And this isn't just about like mindless spending or anything.
Right.
Xiaoyi actually wrote a whole book on this topic.
Wow.
So what's her perspective on financial well-being?
Well, it's interesting. She actually distinguishes having money to spend from the concept of financial freedom.
Oh,
She argues that financial freedom can feel like an elusive and overwhelming goal,
yeah.
constantly out of reach.
Okay.
Instead, she advocates for having money to spend, which focuses on having enough to cover your needs and live comfortably,
I see what she's saying.
without that pressure of amassing wealth.
So it's about attaining like security
Yeah.
and agency
Yeah.
without feeling like you're on a never-ending treadmill.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, Li Xiaoyi doesn't just talk about finances in a purely practical way.
Right.
She uses this really fascinating analogy,
Okay.
describing money as a tool
Oh, wow.
that operates on different levels.
A tool. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So-
Tell me more about this tool analogy.
So at the most basic level,
Okay.
money is a tool for acquiring things you need and want.
Right.
Then at a more advanced level,
Okay.
it becomes a tool for control and influence.
So it gives you options.
It does.
Okay.
Gives you more choices and options in life.
Yeah.
And then finally, at the highest level, money provides the ultimate power of choice and freedom,
Wow.
liberating you from external pressures
Okay.
and allowing you to truly pursue your passions.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really powerful way to frame our relationship with money.
It really is.
It encourages us to move beyond just the transactional aspect
Right.
and consider its deeper impact on our lives and choices.
And this ties into her broader philosophy of self-reliance and creating a life of fulfillment on your own terms.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as much as Li Xiaoyi emphasizes financial health,
Right.
she's equally passionate about the importance of meaningful connections.
You're spot on.
It's not just about the money, right?
No, not at all.
It's about the people we share our lives with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a great example of this is her close relationship with her business partner, Lu Jimbo.
Oh, okay.
There's a touching story from her recent book launch
Okay.
where things got a bit overwhelming,
Yeah, sure.
and Lu Jimbo stepped in to support her.
Ah.
And it was just this beautiful display of their bond,
Okay.
which clearly extends beyond the typical boundaries of a business partnership.
Right. So they have a deep, multifaceted relationship.
Exactly. Built on mutual respect, shared goals, and genuine care for each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this exemplifies Li Xiaoyi's belief that the strongest relationships are those that transcend a single dimension.
I see.
It's not just about business or friendship or romance.
Right.
It's about finding people who you connect with on multiple levels,
Got it.
who understand and support you in various aspects of your life.
This brings us to maybe a more complex part of her life.
Okay.
Her role as a mother.
Yes.
Li Xiaoyi actually made the decision
Yeah.
to let her ex-husband have primary custody of their daughter.
Wow.
And this might seem like an unconventional choice.
Yeah, especially in a society that often places strong expectations on mothers.
Exactly. So what led her to make this decision?
So it's important to understand that for Li Xiaoyi, this wasn't about giving up on her daughter or shirking her maternal responsibilities.
Right.
It was a carefully considered choice,
Okay.
driven by a desire to ensure her daughter's well-being
Yeah.
and a strong relationship with both parents. She believed that in their situation, this arrangement was the best way to achieve those goals.
So she went against societal norms to do what she truly believed was best for her daughter.
It does take a lot of courage and conviction to make such a decision.
Absolutely. And it speaks to her willingness to challenge conventional thinking and make choices that align with her own values, even when they're difficult or unpopular.
Exactly.
Okay. So now, like many mothers and daughters, Li Xiaoyi experienced a period of tension and conflict with her own mother. Did becoming a mother herself change her perspective on that relationship?
It absolutely did. Motherhood gave Li Xiaoyi a newfound understanding and appreciation for her own mother's strict upbringing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She came to realize that her mother's actions, though seemingly harsh at times,
Right.
stemmed from a deep love
Okay.
and a desire to equip her with the tools to succeed in life.
That's interesting how life experiences can shift our understanding of the past
Totally.
and allow us to see things through a more compassionate and forgiving lens.
Absolutely. And this theme of growth and evolution is central to Li Xiaoyi's story.
Yeah.
She's constantly learning, adapting, and refining her understanding of herself and the world around her.
And this evolution is also evident in the way she presents herself publicly.
Oh, how so?
It seems like over the past few years, she's become more open and authentic, particularly in her online videos.
Interesting.
What do you think has contributed to this shift?
Well, Lin Shao pointed out that Li Xiaoyi has become more open and authentic, especially in her online videos over the past few years.
Right.
And when he asked her about this shift, she attributed it to a growing sense of confidence.
But I'm guessing her definition of confidence goes beyond just feeling good about yourself.
You're right.
Yeah.
For Li Xiaoyi, confidence is about having the courage to face uncertainty.
Okay.
Express yourself honestly and not be paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes.
Or not pleasing everyone.
Exactly.
So it's about owning your story, imperfections and all, and trusting that your voice and your story have value regardless of external validation.
That's a powerful definition of confidence.
It is. And I think it resonates deeply with the idea of having money to spend.
How so?
Well, both concepts seem to point to a sense of inner security and self-reliance.
Yeah.
It's about knowing your worth,
Right.
setting your own standards,
Yeah.
and making choices that align with your values, whether it's about finances, career, or how you present yourself to the world.
It's about freedom from those external pressures to conform.
Exactly.
That's a really insightful connection.
Thank you.
It highlights how these different aspects of Li Xiaoyi's philosophy are interconnected,
Yeah.
all stemming from this core belief in self-discovery and living a life true to oneself.
It's about defining success on your own terms and creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
Exactly. So where does she stand now on love and marriage?
Did she still believe in the idea of happily ever after?
Well, Li Xiaoyi actually gave a rather pragmatic response.
Okay.
She acknowledged that finding someone to marry isn't necessarily difficult. But the real challenge lies in nurturing a lasting and fulfilling relationship.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's easy to get swept up in the initial excitement of a new romance.
Right.
But maintaining that connection over time, that takes work.
And from what we've learned about Li Xiaoyi, she's not afraid of putting in the effort.
Exactly. She believes it's about supporting each other's growth, maintaining open communication,
Okay.
and cultivating a connection filled with warmth and affection throughout the journey.
So it sounds like she views relationships as like a dynamic process, not just a static state of being,
Right.
but that can be challenging,
For sure.
especially in a world that often romanticizes, grand gestures and whirlwind romances.
Right. So that's where Li Xiaoyi's perspective gets really interesting.
Okay.
She cautions against seeking happiness in those fleeting moments of excitement
Yeah.
or dramatic displays of affection.
So she's advocating for a more grounded, less flashy approach to love.
Precisely.
Okay.
Li Xiaoyi believes that true happiness in a relationship is quiet and enduring.
Interesting.
It's about a deep sense of security, knowing that you have a partner who supports and understands you
Right.
through life's ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's about finding joy in the everyday moments of connection rather than seeking constant excitement or validation from external sources.
So appreciating the simple things like a shared meal, a quiet evening together, a
Yeah.
heartfelt conversation.
Exactly.
Okay, those seemingly small moments can often be the most meaningful.
Absolutely. And this ties into her overall philosophy of embracing authenticity.
Right.
Remember how we talked about her becoming more open and genuine in her online presence?
Yes, she shed some of those public persona layers and is allowing people to see more of her true self.
Yeah.
So is this something that she's consciously cultivated?
So Lin Shao pointed out that Li Xiaoyi has become more open and authentic, especially in her online videos over the past few years.
Right.
And when he asked her about this shift, she attributed it to a growing sense of confidence.
But I'm guessing her definition of confidence goes beyond just feeling good about yourself.
You're right. For Li Xiaoyi, confidence is about having the courage to face uncertainty.
Oh,
Express yourself honestly
right.
and not be paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes or not pleasing everyone.
So it's about owning your story, that imperfections included.
Exactly.
And I imagine that kind of confidence allows for more genuine connections with others.
Absolutely. It creates space for vulnerability,
Okay.
which is often the foundation for deeper, more meaningful relationships.
Okay, so this conversation about confidence and authenticity reminds me of something else that she mentioned,
Okay.
which is the importance of viewing life experiences,
Right.
even the difficult ones, as opportunities for growth and learning.
Yes, you're talking about how she drew parallels to Karen Mock's perspective on past relationships.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I found that really fascinating.
So she views each experience, even the ones that end in heartbreak or disappointment, as a chance to learn and grow. It's about focusing on the lessons learned,
Yeah.
the wisdom acquired,
Right.
rather than dwelling on the what-ifs or the should-have-beens.
That's a really powerful way to reframe our past experiences.
Yeah.
It allows us to find meaning and purpose even in those moments that didn't go as planned.
Right.
But even with this positive outlook,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine someone going through life without any regrets.
Do you think Li Xiaoyi has any...
Well, when asked about regrets,
Yeah?
Li Xiaoyi acknowledged that she has them, like everyone else.
Right.
But here's the key. She chooses not to dwell on them.
Okay.
She believes that fixating on past mistakes is counterproductive.
Interesting.
It only leads to negativity and prevents us from moving forward.
So it sounds like she applies the same philosophy to regret as she does to finding happiness in relationships.
I think you're right.
It's about focusing on what you can control on the present moment,
Right.
rather than getting bogged down by the past.
It's a very proactive approach to life.
Absolutely.
And this proactive mindset is evident in how she handles negative emotions.
Okay.
Li Xiaoyi admits to being prone to overthinking
Sure.
and getting stuck in her own head.
Yeah.
But she's developed really effective strategies for managing those tendencies.
It's refreshing to hear someone so successful acknowledge those struggles with self-doubt.
Yeah, it makes her feel more relatable, more human.
So what are some of her strategies for dealing with negativity?
She has a couple of go-to methods.
Okay.
One is to shift her perspective.
Okay.
So, for example, if she's feeling annoyed or drained by someone,
Yeah.
she tries to reframe the situation.
Okay.
Instead of seeing that person as a source of frustration,
Yeah.
she views them as a catalyst for growth,
Interesting.
a challenge sent to teach her something valuable.
So it takes the focus off of the other person's flaws and puts it back on your own personal development.
Exactly.
It's about finding the opportunity for learning, even in those moments of friction.
And if that perspective shift doesn't quite work,
Okay.
she has another strategy,
Right. What's that?
changing her environment.
Okay.
So if she finds herself spiraling into negativity,
Yeah.
she gets out of the house,
Okay.
goes for a walk,
Right.
calls a friend,
Sure.
or watches something funny,
Okay.
anything to break free from that negative thought pattern.
It's a reminder that sometimes the simplest actions can be the most effective when it comes to managing our emotions.
Just stepping away from a situation can give us the space we need to gain perspective and shift our mindset.
It's like hitting the reset button.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of resetting and facing challenges, I think it's time we address Li Xiaoyi's legendary 4.45 a.m. wake-up call.
Yeah. I have to admit, even I'm a little skeptical.
Right.
It sounds incredibly disciplined, almost superhuman.
Well, Lin Shao had the same question.
Okay.
He asked her directly if she'd been waking up at 4.45 every morning for the past decade to write.
Oh.
And her answer was surprising.
What's the truth behind her early morning routine?
So Li Xiaoyi clarified that it's not about forcing herself to wake up early.
Okay.
She emphasized that she's naturally a morning person,
Oh.
feeling most energized and productive in those early hours.
Okay.
She even said she has to be in bed by 10:30 p.m.
Wow.
because her body simply shuts down at that point.
So it's not about superhuman willpower, but rather about understanding her natural rhythms
Exactly.
and working with her body's natural energy flow.
It is. And this idea extends beyond just her sleep schedule.
Okay.
She applies it to other areas of her life as well.
Okay. Like what?
For instance, she stays physically active,
Okay.
but not out of a sense of obligation.
Right.
She genuinely enjoys it.
Yeah.
Remember how she mentioned she was quite the athlete in high school?
Yes, and she even joked that she could probably still ace an 800-meter run if she had to.
Right.
I love that she embraces that part of herself, even though she's known for her intellectual pursuits.
It reminds us that we're complex beings with multiple dimensions.
Right.
We don't have to fit into neat little boxes or conform to stereotypes.
Exactly.
Like Xiaoyi's message is clear. Find what you love. What energizes you?
Yeah.
And what works for you?
Rather than trying to force yourself into a mold that doesn't feel authentic.
Exactly.
So it's about honoring your individuality and creating a life that aligns with your true self.
Absolutely.
But I imagine that even someone as self-aware as Li Xiaoyi faces challenges and obstacles.
Oh, of course.
So how does she approach those inevitable bumps in the road?
That's a great question, and her perspective is quite interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
When asked about the toughest challenges she's encountered in her entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah.
she gave a rather surprising response.
Okay, what did she say?
She explained that whenever she thinks she's encountered the most difficult situation imaginable,
Yeah.
something even more challenging inevitably comes along.
So it's like life keeps raising the bar, testing her limits.
Exactly. She embraces the challenges,
Wow.
knowing that each obstacle she overcomes makes her stronger and more capable.
Okay.
She has this amazing quote from the actress Li Xiaoyi
Okay.
that she often refers to when facing tough times.
I love a good quote.
Li Xiaoyi said, "No matter how big an issue is today, by tomorrow it will be a small issue. By next year it will be a story, and by the next life it will be a legend."
Wow, that's powerful.
It's so good.
It reminds us that even the most daunting challenges are temporary,
Right.
and time has a way of softening the edges of our struggles.
And it speaks to that idea of embracing the journey, even when it's difficult.
Yeah.
Li Xiaoyi believes that the challenges we face shape our character
Right.
and ultimately make our stories richer and more meaningful.
So it's about finding the strength to keep going,
Yeah.
knowing that on the other side of those challenges lies growth wisdom and a deeper understanding of ourselves.
Exactly.
Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about something that Li Xiaoyi mentioned
Oh.
that really caught my attention.
All right.
It's her idea that humans can learn from artificial intelligence.
That's an intriguing concept.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear more about that.
So she specifically talked about how AI systems gather vast amounts of data to inform their decision-making processes.
Right.
And she believes that humans can benefit from a similar approach.
So she's advocating for accumulating a wide range of experiences to inform our own decision-making.
Exactly. It's about embracing new challenges, stepping outside of our comfort zones, and gathering a diverse set of experiences to draw upon.
Okay.
And she believes that this leads to a richer, more nuanced understanding of the world
Right.
and a greater capacity for making sound decisions.
It's about becoming lifelong learners,
Yeah.
always seeking new knowledge and perspectives to broaden our horizons
Right.
and deepen our understanding.
It reminds me of Li Xiaoyi's unconventional decision to let her ex-husband have primary custody of her daughter.
I see the connection.
Yeah.
It was a difficult choice, one that challenged societal norms.
Exactly. It speaks to her willingness to make bold decisions that align with her values, even if they go against conventional wisdom or expectations.
It's about prioritizing what truly matters,
Right.
even when it means going against the grain.
And it's a testament to her commitment to personal growth
Yeah.
and evolving her understanding of what it means to be a good parent.
And this theme of evolution is also evident in her changing relationship with her own mother.
Right.
They went through a period of tension and conflict.
Yeah.
But as Li Xiaoyi matured and became a mother herself,
Right.
she gained a deeper understanding of her own mother's strict parenting style.
It's amazing how parenthood can shift our perspective and help us see things through a different lens,
Totally.
even when it comes to past hurts or misunderstandings.
Li Xiaoyi came to realize that her mother's discipline,
Yeah.
though seemingly harsh at times,
Yeah.
stemmed from a place of love
Okay.
and a desire to equip her with the tools to succeed in life.
It's a beautiful example of how even the most challenging relationships can evolve and deepen over time,
Yeah.
leading to greater understanding, forgiveness, and a stronger connection.
And this leads us to another aspect of Li Xiaoyi's life that I think many parents can relate to. Her relationship with her daughter. Remember how we talked about them having very different personalities?
Yes. Li Xiaoyi is an avid reader and deep thinker,
Yeah.
while her daughter is more practical and hands-on.
It's a classic example of how children often inherit a unique blend of traits from their parents,
Right.
creating this beautiful mosaic of individuality.
Absolutely. And it's heartwarming to see how Li Xiaoyi embraces her daughter's uniqueness, even though it's different from her own.
She's come to realize that true love means accepting and celebrating your child for who they are,
Right.
not trying to mold them into someone they're not.
Exactly.
And I think that message extends far beyond the parent-child dynamic.
It's about appreciating the unique qualities of everyone in our lives,
That's a key.
embracing those differences,
Yeah.
and finding joy in the tapestry of personalities that make up our world.
That's beautiful.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the life and wisdom of Li Xiaoyi.
I can't believe it's already part 3.
I know, right? It's been such a fascinating journey.
It has.
Exploring her thoughts on success and happiness and the power of, embracing your true self.
She's such an inspiring figure.
She really is, demonstrating how to navigate life's complexities, with grace and authenticity.
Yeah, and in this final part, I think we'll uncover even more valuable insights.
Totally, especially for those juggling the demands of work and family life.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I know a lot of our listeners can relate to that.
For sure.
It can feel like such a constant balancing act, trying to excel in your career while being a present and engaged parent.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, does Li Xiaoyi have any advice for women navigating these challenges?
Well, Lin Shao actually asked her a very similar question,
Okay.
and her response was refreshingly honest.
Oh, I like that.
So Li Xiaoyi admitted that she doesn't have any, like, magical solutions
Right.
or easy answers.
Okay.
In fact, she acknowledged how incredibly tough it is to juggle everything,
Right.
especially when you're striving for excellence in both your personal and professional life.
It's validating to hear someone so successful acknowledge that struggle.
It
It
is.
reminds us that we're not alone, in feeling overwhelmed or pulled in multiple directions.
He's real.
So what's her advice?
Well, she doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties.
Okay.
She emphasizes that any woman trying to excel in her career and be a present parent will inevitably face moments of stress
Of course.
and overwhelm.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of trying to do it all.
So how do we navigate those moments?
Well, she really stresses the importance of building a strong support system. So, surrounding yourself with family and friends,
Yeah.
colleagues who can offer help and encouragement when you need it most.
It takes a village.
It really does.
Yeah.
And she also highlights the importance of self-care.
Of course.
So, finding ways to recharge and replenish your energy
Yes.
so you can show up fully
Right.
for both your work and your family.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that self-care isn't selfish. It's actually an investment in our overall well-being.
Right.
And our ability to show up for the people and things we care about most.
Okay, so speaking of self-care and finding sources of strength, I have to bring up Li Xiaoyi's love of Gone with the Wind.
Oh, yeah. What a classic.
I was so surprised to learn that this novel had such a profound impact on her.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is. What is it about that story that resonated so deeply?
It just goes to show that inspiration can come from the most unexpected places.
Right.
And it seems like Li Xiaoyi has a knack for finding wisdom and guidance in a variety of sources.
For sure.
She actually shared another book that has been particularly meaningful to her,
Oh, really?
especially as she navigates the complexities of midlife.
Okay, what's this book? I'm intrigued.
It's a book called Middle Age Awakening.
Interesting.
Li Xiaoyi found it incredibly insightful.
Okay.
It offered really valuable perspectives on the challenges and opportunities that come with this stage of life.
I'm adding that to my reading list.
You should. I think a lot of our listeners will be interested in exploring those themes as well.
Totally.
Yeah. It seems to be a recurring theme in Li Xiaoyi's life, finding wisdom and guidance in the stories and experiences of others.
Right.
And it speaks to her belief in lifelong learning,
Absolutely.
constantly seeking new knowledge and perspectives to enrich her understanding of the world.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to touch on a topic that often comes with a lot of baggage: aging.
It's true. So many people dread the idea of getting older,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling Li Xiaoyi has a more, empowering perspective.
I think so too. She seems to approach every aspect of life with such intention
Yeah.
and a focus on personal growth. So how does she view aging?
Well, Lin Shao asked her a very pointed question. He said, "Is there anything you find particularly challenging or confusing about being 46 years old?"
Good.
And her answer was quite revealing.
I'm all ears.
She said she doesn't give much attention to her chronological age. Instead, she focuses on what she calls her visual age and her psychological age.
Right, those concepts from part 1.
Exactly. So your visual age is how young you look and feel, while your psychological age refers to your inner mindset and energy levels.
So it's not about the number on your birth certificate, but about how you perceive yourself.
Yeah, and how you project that perception to the world.
And she believes we have a lot of control over both.
We do. It's about taking care of our physical and mental well-being, staying active and engaged, and cultivating a positive mindset.
It's about taking ownership of our aging process, defining it on our own terms. That's such an empowering message.
Xiaoyi's message is clear. Don't let societal expectations or stereotypes dictate how you experience aging.
Yeah.
You have the power to create your own definition of what it means to age gracefully and vibrantly.
I love that. It's about challenging those limiting beliefs
Yeah.
and embracing the richness and wisdom that comes with each stage of life.
That's what it's all about.
So, as we reach the end of our deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways from Li Xiaoyi's story that you think will resonate with our listeners?
Well, her life and philosophy offer so many insights,
Sure.
especially for women navigating the complexities of modern life.
Right.
She encourages us to embrace authenticity, cultivate meaningful connections,
Yes.
prioritize financial well-being,
Yeah.
and approach life's challenges with resilience and a growth mindset.
And what I find most inspiring is her message of empowerment and self-discovery.
Absolutely.
She encourages us to defy expectations, forge our own paths, and define success and happiness according to our own values.
It's about creating a life that feels truly authentic and aligned with your unique purpose and passions. And to kind of encapsulate this message, I want to leave our listeners with a powerful quote from Li Xiaoyi. Do everything I can, respect what I can't.
It's such a great quote, a beautiful reminder to strive for excellence while acknowledging our limitations,
Yeah.
to embrace both our strengths and our vulnerabilities.
And ultimately, it's about living a life of intention and purpose.
Yes.
Making choices that align with our values and approaching each day with a spirit of curiosity, courage, and a deep respect for ourselves and the world around us.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Li Xiaoyi.
It's been my pleasure.
We hope you found her story as inspiring as we did. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What aspects of her journey resonated most with you? How can you apply her wisdom to your own life? Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.